I think we should use the chair.
Good evening. Welcome to Law Talk, the show that brings the Constitution, the events of the day, and analysis by myself, James Barrett, along with Mark Malachowski. We're going to bring it to you as we do each month. Mark, what's our subject for today?
Well, first of all, we're going to talk about the Daca deadline.
The DACA
That's
deadline.
coming up on March 5th. And then we've got McCabe, who used to run the FBI, or be the second guy in the FBI. He's retiring. And then lastly, we have a teacher in California who was saying that if you join the military, you're retarded.
Oh, wait a minute. Let's go back to DACA. Okay, isn't DACA the deferred action for who?
Yeah, DACA is, okay, here's the deal. The Schumer shutdown, Trump offered a deal giving 2 million clandestine foreign agents amnesty in exchange for a wall and to end chain migration and the visa lottery. And Schumer and Pelosi turned him down.
Wait a minute, that seems like a mouthful here. Wait a minute. Because it seems like you added 3 subjects in trade for
The
DACA.
wall. The wall.
No, it was the wall, end chain migration, and the visa lottery program.
Right.
Okay, we're going to get to each of those, but the Schumer and the Pelosi argument is we must save the dreamers, and they have little crowds saying we must save the dreamers.
Well, okay, well,
but it sounds like Trump's trying to save the dreamers.
No, on the point of the dreamers, there's $80 billion worth of methamphetamine and heroin that comes across.
That's a lot of dreams.
That comes across the border every year. And there's a lot of dreamers. Now, if you think that Jose is doing that with his little knapsack, forget about it. Okay, you've got the guys down in El Salvador. I forget they are like
the MS-13.
Well, MS-13 is the agents, but El Salvador has the Dirección Nacional Civil DNI, National Directorate of Intelligence, who operates the agents. And their code name is the MS-13. So this is $80 billion a year, right? This is not like, oh, Jose is taking something across the border.
No, this is full enterprise. This is a major enterprise.
This is organized crime. They pay off bodyguards. They pay off senators in the United States Congress. They pay off congressmen in the United States Congress. They pay off Mexico to have the drugs go through. And this is being operated from the secret police of El Salvador. So this is an espionage. Now, when the MS-13 guys get to our side of the border, they're spies working for an enemy nation, right? There's no doubt about that. And so they basically have, they're clandestine agents working over here. $80 billion. Okay, so that's the first thing. Let's cut.
Yeah, I know. Let's cut
the nonsense.
The
It's $80 billion. You close that border, there's not $80 billion anymore, right?
That's right.
So the dream is the dream of all the people going, dream, yeah, on morphine. That's what the dream is.
That is the dream.
That's the dream.
Well, actually, it's fentanyl now.
Fentanyl, yeah.
Fentanyl.
Okay. So
the drug, the trendy.
So that's what the money is, and nobody who's getting a piece of that $80 billion wants to have a wall.
Well, nobody wants a wall, and you know what? You know why they don't want a wall? It'll stop the natural flow of the people.
Oh yeah, the people.
The people. It'll stop the flow of the people.
Okay.
In reality, it'll stop the flow of the drugs and the slavery
and the spies
and the spies and the terrorists from the Middle East. And funny enough, how much money those terrorists seem to have. Oh, could it be linked back to a flight out of Switzerland, $150 billion to Iran? Could it be?
Okay,
but
so
we
anyway,
don't know that, do we?
Okay, now here's another thing. This is kind of a once upon a time.
Once upon a time.
In the olden days, there was a castle called America, right?
America.
And then
Was that America the Great?
Yeah, and then one of the little weaselly spies at night opened the gates from the inside and let down the drawbridge. And guess what? 90 million enemy combatants or enemies came into the drawbridge while everyone was sleeping, okay?
But did they use a Trojan horse? Or did they walk right in?
And the guy who opened these gates and let down the drawbridge when everyone was asleep is Senator Chuck Schumer. And the reason Schumer did that is because he got $500,000 in bribes from the invaders. And the guys who paid him off were the Immigration for Everyone, the Council for Alien Rights, and the Southern Border Defense Fund. Now, I think these are just fronts for MS-13 and the who are these guys?
But wait a minute, what does George Soros have with those?
The DNI, well, that's a different thing. We'll get to the DAs later. But I think that money's coming from the Direction Nacional Civil DNI, which is the MS-13 sponsors down in El Salvador. So anyway, Schumer's getting $500,000 for that, right?
But that doesn't sound like a lot for him.
But
That's like
just
a
change.
weekend
but
change.
But that is above board.
Oh, that's above board.
That's declared. That's not the real money. Okay, and now what's interesting about Schumer says, oh, you can't have a wall for an America.
Can't build a wall.
But the funny thing about Schumer, he's a foreign citizen. He's a citizen of a foreign country. And that foreign country has a wall.
By the way, Israel does have a wall, and it stopped the terrorist state
Okay. And so
in Jerusalem.
So like he's a foreign citizen. That country has a wall, right? His main country has a wall. He always has a place to run to. But here, oh, you don't need a wall. You can't have a wall. And not only that, to go into his country, right, his foreign country, you have to be within a fourth cousin. You have to do a DNA blood test, right, to vote, right? But Schumer wants anybody who can get across the border, right? If anybody on the whole planet, there's like
You can't have an ID to vote.
6 million,
Heaven forbid you can't have an ID to
6
vote.
million people
Can't have an ID to vote.
Can
You
let
know
me-
why? Because nobody seems to be able to get an ID except when they want to buy alcohol, cash a check, open a bank account, get a driver's license. But nobody can have an ID, so you can't
Okay,
vote.
so anyway, Schumer wants to let all these invaders come in so they can vote for
All
him.
the invaders.
So Schumer's band of foreign spies. Now, Schumer's band of foreign spies is not that small. You got Richard Blumenthal, Barbara Boxer, Barbara Cordian, Dianne Feinstein, L. Franken's out of it, Herb Kohl, Frank Luntenberg, Joseph Lieberman, Carl Levin, Charles Schumer, Ron Wheldon, and Michael Bennett. All these guys are Israeli citizens, and they're in the Senate. That's a lot of people. Now, how many American citizens are in the
But have they
Knesset?
forgotten there's a wall in Israel?
Yeah, there's a wall. And then the House of Representatives is 5 times as long. But basically, we've got a lot of foreign citizens. So my question is, why can't we have a rule that you can't be in Congress unless both your parents were American and you never held citizenship in any other country? Because, of course, if you're an internationalist, oh, the Red International, what do you care about America, right?
No, you just
can-
want to have world
yeah.
Congress, and
Yeah,
that's
the
the way it
world,
goes.
yeah, we're the
we're the
international.
world. We are the world.
We are the Trotskyites, the Wobblies, So anyway, the point is that the question is, how many foreign invaders are in the United States today? That's the question.
Well, you know what? We can't determine how many foreign invaders, but we can still build the wall.
I'll tell you how
That'll
many.
slow them down.
I'll tell you how many we got. Okay, in 2005, Bear Stearns look at the money flow, right? And that means the flow of illegal money, basically people who don't use IDs and don't have bank accounts going across the border, okay?
But do they vote?
Oh, of course they do.
Of course they vote.
And they can vote as many times as
It's
they want.
motor voter in
Well,
California.
Not only that, because they can use 30, 40 IDs. and vote
Yeah,
34
and by the
times.
way, when Soros busts them from one voting station to the next, where do you live? I live over there. Where do you live? I live over there. Who are you? Well, I don't know, but I get a check. Please, I vote. I vote. I vote.
Okay, so anyway, but the point is, okay, in 2005, there was 20 million, okay? That's what Bear Stearns-
Allegedly.
No, that's what Bear Stearns came up with looking at the finances. In other words, cash across the board of 400 a week or 300 a week, so they figured, and then just looking at all these things like
So we're
investments
using the cash transfers back to Mexico as a way to count.
and rentals and just
Yeah.
anything that anyone, like a financial person. So the 20 million is a pretty good thing in 2005. Now they stopped collecting anything and made it illegal to do anything after 2005. But the
Because
border,
of an invasion of the illegals' privacy.
okay, yeah, invasion of the invaders. And so
Invasion of the invaders'
But
privacy.
the point of the matter is what the border guards say is like there's 20 million going across the border and we catch about 3/4 of them. So that means 5 million a year. So that comes to 70. So since 2005, 5 million a year means 70. So right now we got 90 million. We got 90 million.
90 million.
We got 90 million invaders
How
in the
many
country.
people are in America?
Well, who knows? But but the point of the matter is there's 90 million invaders. Now 50 million of them are young, men who are enemy soldiers, right? Who are ready to
they're all
kill.
hard workers.
Well, yeah, they're all, but also they're all sworn to like chop your head off, rape your women and children, and claim the blood-soaked soil that you're standing on.
and drink as much as you can before you drive.
No, but I mean they are sworn. If you listen to their speeches, they want to chop your head off.
Yep.
And they want to rape your wife, and they want to rape your daughter, and they want to rape your little boys too. And that's what they're sworn to do.
Well, I think on that warm note, I think we're going to move on to our next subject. What's our next subject,
Okay,
Mark?
our next subject is
Please don't tell me it's rape.
okay. Oh, this one is our buddy in the FBI,
McCabe.
McCabe.
Ah.
McCabe decided it was time to spend more time with his family.
Well, you mean after his wife's unsuccessful run where somebody handed her $700,000 through McAuliffe, who is the henchman for Hillary Clinton?
I believe it was only 600,000.
Wow, 600.
In a race
Well, it's
where-
100,000 as a bribe
in a
of
race
600,000,
usually- in a race-
700,000.
In a race where they usually spend 30 or 40 or 50 or 60,000.
Yeah, you know what's funny about this race? Not only did she get this chunk of money, you know that there's no record of how she spent it. And funny enough, she lost, which means she didn't spend enough of it.
Well, you've seen the producers. You
Yeah.
make a lot more out of production that fails than one that is successful. But anyway, the point is, okay, so this guy was the number 2, and again, he was in charge of Peter Strzok and all these other guys.
Wait a minute, wasn't he with the Hillary Clinton email?
Yeah, they were.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they go back with Comey. Like, first of all, let's
He
go.
goes back a long ways,
Yeah,
doesn't he?
Comey, you know,
Uranium One.
exonerated Hillary on the Whitewater deal.
Whitewater.
Got a $6 million tip from being a genius rocket science at Lockheed for working a year. Oh yeah, he's a rocket
He's
scientist.
a rocket science.
And then and then he went and exonerated her on the bleach bidding.
Oh, the bleach. Oh,
And
that's
then-
with the hammer and the bleach bidding. And oh,
then-
by the way, I have nothing left.
And then he got in a fight with Trump so he could get fired so they could hire Comey by leaking it to the New York Times, who, of course, committed probably thousands of felonies on this, right? Thousands of felonies committed by the New York Times, printing stuff that's felony leaked, right?
Yeah, well, by the way, it was leaked by people even when Comey decided
Mueller
he's
did.
going to give his buddy and he's going to testify. Oh, yes, and I gave my best friend this documents to leak that a private conversation with the president while I'm on the job.
Okay.
And then I wrote it on a government computer. And by the way, my buddy at the New York Times, felony, felony, felony.
Okay, lots of felonies. And also, everything the Mueller bunch has done is they've each done like 30, 40, or 50, 60 felonies each. But the main thing is this goes back to the Stellar win, which no one even talks about. And then the FISA warrant, of course, was a felony because that was all faked information.
And by the way, you ever wonder why the FISA judges aren't speaking up about what happened? Yeah, they're
dreaming.
They're dreamers.
They're dreaming. So anyway, well, these were rubber stamp judge.
Yeah.
You know, these guys are like.
You think they studied it?
Yeah, these are rubber stamp judges. These are all Obama appointments and rubber stampers. And so these guys, they knew that they'd rubber stamp anything that got put in front of them. And so what happened?
That mean I can indict a ham sandwich?
You can indict a ham sandwich. Worse than that. But anyway, so what happened here is you had a mutiny. Now, mutiny is a little bit different than treason. Because treason could be any civilian can commit treason. To commit mutiny, you have to be an armed government agent. Now, these FBI people are armed government agents. That means they're some of the most powerful people in the society, the most powerful people in the world. We trust them implicitly, their honor, their integrity. I worked with the FBI about 20 or 30 years ago, and I mean, I had the utmost respect for them at that time. That's why I have the utmost
disrespect.
I have the most disdain for these guys who are mutineers. They didn't just betray Trump, and they didn't betray the U.S. government, right? They didn't betray one party or the other. They betrayed the republic.
The whole country.
No, just the republic itself.
Yeah.
I mean, they went after America, right?
Yep.
They didn't go after Trump. They didn't go after Obama. They didn't go after the U.S. government. They didn't go after the people. They went after the republic. That's mutiny, and that's a hanging offense. And justice won't be done to Rod Rosenstein. He's hung by the neck till dead. This McCabe guy is hung by the neck till dead. Ray, I think Christopher Ray should be hung too.
Well,
but
he's
we'll
borderline. But
we'll see how he goes. Or they should be hung by the neck to dead.
Strzok.
They're all mutineers.
Yeah, it's Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, Orr and his wife Nellie. I mean, these people are. This is mutiny. It's a mutiny on the largest scale.
And the thing, Sessions can't do this because Sessions wasn't a homicide.
He's compromised.
Well, he wasn't a homicide inspector, and of course, the Hillary campaign, who's murdering people every day.
Yeah.
I mean, the deep state FBI is assassinating people every day, and they just took care of a Russian. Well,
you know what they're doing is eliminating the witnesses.
Oh, the witnesses.
Wait a minute. This goes back. The Hillary and the Clinton formula is, if it smells bad, get rid of the witness.
Right, or you blackmail them, or you shoot them.
Well, mostly get rid of the witness.
Well, but a lot of them just go to the blackmail.
You know, it's funny. Our last president followed that a lot too.
But
a lot of witnesses vanished.
But the point is, obviously Sessions' family's been, threatened with a murder, and he's been threatened with murder. And like, if he was in homicides when he was a younger man, then he would have dealt with that as family early, and it would have been part of the job. You know, you're always getting death threats if you're a prosecutor. But I don't think he's got the right stuff. He can't stand up to
He
this.
doesn't got a backbone.
He just doesn't have the guts, and he's never had his life and family threatened before like this, and so he's scared to death. But Nunes is the one guy.
Nunes has got a pair of cojones.
He's
man.
the one guy standing up for him. I hope he's got a good security
What I
detail.
don't understand is why all the guys that used to stand up, like Daryl Issa, Trey Gowdy, Jason Chaffetz, and now it's one guy left, one man standing.
Well, it's one man saying, well, I mean,
and
those guys.
McConnell's not standing. He's like a limp noodle.
Don't get into that. But I'm just saying, I just hope that.
You mean like
I just hope that Nunes has got some body doubles, that he's got canned food and ammunition, because he's
Steve
the one.
Scalise, you saw what happened to him.
Yeah.
He was the main target on that shooting.
And so I'm just saying.
And he's got a backbone.
That is, well, yeah, he's lucky he's alive. So I'm just saying.
Lucky he's alive.
At this point, Sessions isn't going to do anything. Nunes isn't going to do anything. Is the only chance we have to save the republic. And this is it disappointed me, because I did work with the FBI, and so I'm very disappointed that they committed mutiny.
Well, actually, I had to work with the FBI on 2 different subjects over the last 10 years. And
was the highest
everything
caliber.
you think about when you saw Efren Zimbalist Jr. as an FBI agent on the TV show, The FBI. These guys were straight. Everything's boom, boom, boom. Now it's like you never know if they're texting their lover, or they're texting their boyfriend, or they're texting who the hell they're texting, and why the hell are they texting?
Well, I thought they were like bleach spitting their texts.
Oh no, they only
lost
bleach
them.
spit after the fact.
They lost them.
They lost them.
How many texts? They lost like 50,000 texts.
50,000 texts.
And then the IG said, "Oh,
by the way, I have 50,000 texts."
Yeah, right.
You know what? The only savior that might be happening in this whole thing, Mark, is the IG, the Inspector General, seems to be doing more.
Well,
as Inspector General, they released a lot of this
I know,
stuff.
but the Inspector General is very compromised too.
Well, he's supposed to be not compromised.
Well, I would say he's in the tank with the
But
rest of them.
do you? Well,
But he's got
I got one more.
But the
thing.
point of the matter
Can
is,
I say something more on
nobody
text?
believes
How could
the 50,000.
Strauss and Page have 10,000 texts in a year? I mean, I just don't get it. 10,000 texts. How many texts can you keep going?
Well, see, my concern with them is the workers' comp from that carpal tunnel.
Oh, yeah, that carpal tunnel on their thumbs.
Yeah.
On their thumbs and their fingers, trying to figure all that out. I don't know how that's going to happen.
But I'm just saying, the reason the IG had to release that, because no one believed it. There was the public just said, this is a total sham.
Well, we'll leave it on that sham. What's our last subject tonight, Mark?
Well, this is a guy named Gregory Salcido.
Who's Gregory? What's Gregory do?
Well, he's a high school teacher in El Rancho, and
no, this is in California.
Yeah, he says he saw this guy wearing a Marine shirt, and he said, "You better not blank and go. Don't wear that in here." And so he said.
He said more than that, if I remember the story correctly.
Because there's a bunch of dumb blanks over there.
He said only the lowest and the stupid people go join the military.
Think about the people who are over there. You're blank and stupid Uncle Louie or whatever. They're dumb blanks. They're not like high-level thinkers. They're not academic people. They're not intellectual people. They're the lowest of the low. So basically what he says, what Salcido says is they're not cowards and they're not traitors. And I think what he's saying is that his idea of intellectual people, and I think it's true, if you look at most college professors, they are cowards and traitors. So, he's saying, well, if you're not a coward and you're not a traitor to America, you're stupid. And I think that's a pretty standard thought.
You know what the problem with this whole thing is that I don't know how many people in his family are here legally. I don't know what's going on with this whole storyline, but we're fortunate in this country to have people that volunteer to serve the nation, and they do so much sacrifice to keep the freedoms we have. And this guy, who's got this little job, oh, by the way, he was suspended. Now, what happens after that just means he gets higher pay. But this guy wants to pop off, and this is more of the whole California mantra that what we do in California is different than the United States. And I think this entire issue, I am hoping that school systems throughout this state will start getting it. That this kind of concept does not exist in the minds of patriots
Well,
as citizens.
what he's saying, well, he probably doesn't believe that there should be an America.
He doesn't believe there is America. He's an
Yeah.
open borders guy.
Yeah, he's an open borders guy.
Oh, by the way, Azatlan.
Azatlan.
Bring it back. Azatlan. We own the Southwest. I got it.
Reconquista.
Yeah, we're coming back. Oh, by the way,
ethnic cleansing.
ethnic cleansing.
Off with the heads of the
If you're
honkies.
white,
Yeah, chop
and
their
that-
heads off.
I got a funny story about the Obama picture. No, anyway, here we go.
Okay, anyway, it says it's because you didn't take care of business academically, because your parents didn't love you enough to push you, and then you didn't love yourself enough to push yourself. So basically,
You mean you fell into the military? Is that
yeah,
what he's
that
saying?
he's saying is because your parents hated you, and you're a loser, and that's why you ended up in the military. And I think I was just with a client of mine the other night, and he was in the Marines, and I said, well, what's your best war story? He's like in his 85 or something. He says, well, in the 40s, I was in the World War II, and then in the 50s, I got a call from my sergeant, and he says, we need you back. Your brigade needs you back. We're going to Korea. And so he volunteered to go back, and he was going to be a parachute sergeant, you know. And so his first Camp Pendleton jump, he jumped. And the guys, I guess, had been drinking some beers the night before packing the chute. He fell, and the chute didn't open. And he landed, and he thought, yeah, my life passed before me, and then I fell down, and I died, and then they came and put me in the truck, and then he woke up in the hospital a couple hours later, and they go, yeah, what are you doing? You're supposed to be dead. And he kind of came back alive. And so I'm thinking of that guy, as compared to this Gregory Saucedo, a guy who, died in training, and happened to live because he fell just on his back instead of on his feet or, like on something. And I think of these people who make these huge sacrifices, and I look at this guy who's a traitor and probably an enemy spy, and he's getting
He's a
paid.
subversive no matter how
No,
you
but
look
he's
at it.
getting paid by taxpayer money, and it seems
By
like
California
and it
tax.
seems like you see Schumer paid by taxpayers. You have spies and traitors all paid by taxpayers. You never see these people working for a living. They never start a business. They never do anything but get on the government dole and then sabotage and spy and just commit treason. So I think the thing is, the big problem is the government's too big. You got to cut the government down 90%. And I don't see why we even have these public schools, because the public schools, it's just nonsense. Why can't parents get a stipend and then send the kids wherever they want, right?
Well, no, that's the voucher program.
Yeah, why don't you have that? I mean, there's no reason. And now
California doesn't want the voucher.
well, not only that,
you know why they don't want the vouchers.
they're going to call homeschooling child abuse now.
Yeah, they're already trying to.
They're
You know why
doing that.
they don't want vouchers? Because it'll destroy the teachers
Well,
union.
that's because these guys, are getting whatever, $150,000 a year for telling kids that if they join the military, their parents hated them and they're stupid. And there's no reason that we have this whole section of society of basically professors, right? And if I'm not even going to get into the Harvard thing, but it's completely rigged who gets to become a professor. It's not based on merit.
Nope.
It's based on how loyal you are to the Marxist Party, right? And it's all government money. If these guys had to survive for 10 minutes working for a living, they wouldn't make it.
No, they wouldn't. That's why the old adage is if you don't know how to do anything, what you do is you teach what you don't know how to do. Okay, so if you can't do it, you teach it, because you'll never be able to make a living off of it.
Anyway, this post was shared 90,000 times, and this guy, I guess, videotaped the guy, and it's also the teacher's in a position of authority, and to bully, intimidate people like that that's highly despicable, and I think that it's just indicative of the whole school system. I think this guy represents the California educational system.
Well, I have another
this guy is the spokesman, and you look at all the money we spend on education, it all goes to this.
Well, we spend the most, but we're at the
No,
bottom.
but I mean, every penny of taxpayer money that goes into schools goes to preach this.
Yeah, that's right.
Every single penny.
Well, wait a minute. In San Ramon, just happened yesterday, the San Ramon student body president says the national anthem is racist, so we can never play it again at sporting events. And of course, the teacher advisor, oh, little Johnny, that makes sense. You know the national anthem is racist. So now this high school in San Ramon, not exactly the ghetto, is coming up with end the national anthem because it's racist.
Okay,
so
well,
they're starting a whole campaign to end the
let me-
national anthem.
Okay, so
Give me a break.
The night of the bombardment of Fort Henry, right?
You're right.
The flag was taking direct hits from hundreds of British ships and thousands of cannons, but they couldn't knock down the flag. And you know why?
No.
It's because volunteers picked up the flag, got blown up, and then the next volunteer picked it up. That flag, which would have been, if that flag had hit the ground, that would have been the end of America.
Right.
Patriot after patriot volunteered to die.
To hold the flag.
To hide
up.
the flag.
Fly
Okay.
the flag.
After direct artillery hits. And when the admiral said to Francis Scott Key, "You guys are crazy. What's the matter with them?" And he said, American Christians would rather die on their feet than live on their knees. And so all of these people, the Schumer and all his little foreign spies who all have a place to run after they spend all our tax money and let all these 90 million foreign terrorists in, and teachers like this who live on the dole and destroy
You
our
know
country.
what they're living on? The teacher union.
They want us on our knees.
They want us begging.
They want us on our knees. And if you want to be on your feet, I'm saying it's a call to arms. It's a time to draw a line. We're done with this. We need the wall. We need to cut taxes. We need to have vouchers. We need to have this whole bunch of leeches and parasites, right? They're going to have to work now. You know, we got to end these leeches and parasites because they want us living us on our knees. And
by the way, citizens are citizens. People that are not citizens are not citizens.
Well, the question
and the idea of the open border for any country in any part of this world is absurd.
Okay, why don't we deport Schumer back to Israel, and he can take his 90 million illegals to Israel?
Well, you know, they need some more villages and kibbutzes.
Yeah.
I think they should open them all up.
He's the one who. Okay, it's like
Schumer could be the great white leader.
Yeah, he brought 90 million spies and saboteurs here. Let's deport them to Israel. They can have 90
how big
million.
was his paycheck?
Oh, like I said, well, 500,000 just on this one.
Well,
guy.
anyway, Mark, I got to tell you, we're going to wrap it up for the night, but I'm going to tell you, these are exciting subjects. And the worst part about all of it, very few people understand the dynamics of what really is going on.
Well, $80 billion worth of
and
heroin.
the only thing we can do here at Law Talk is try to bring it to the audience so they try to understand what is going on.
The dream is the $80 billion worth of heroin that's coming across the border, and with people,
fentanyl.
When they shoot that up into their veins, that's what they're dreaming.
That's the dreamers.
That's what the dreamers.
Hey,
dreaming on heroin.
Dreaming on.
and
I'll give you a toast on dreaming on.
Dreaming on that
Dreaming
heroin.
on.
Dream with Schumer and his heroin.
Dreaming with Schumer, Feinstein, Jerry Brown.
All those buddies, right? And they're making a bundle off this heroin trade.
You know what's funny? They're making a bundle.
They're making a bundle off it.